Hello, you guys. I mean, really, get serious right now. Okay. Amy Beth Shaver, Allison Sinclair, JP, the Rightside. But who cares about any of this? Look at who is right here. Bill Bubba Bussey. JP.
Howdy.
Hit me with some thank you. Okay. You drove up this morning.
Yes.
We are so happy you are here.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad we could finally get this worked out.
I mean, this is incredible. Like, we see your daughter long distance, but we get to see you like live and in person.
Listen, I had to come up here and see this studio. This is unbelievable. I can't believe y'all have this big a setup. This is neat.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes, this is for what you guys are doing and what all of us are doing now. This is big time.
Well, we just call it our little tree house. So thank you.
Well, somebody has set it up very nice.
Well,
compliments to the engineering staff.
Hello, Sinclair.
Yeah, I do. I tend to decorate mid-show, like a break. I'll hang a picture and do some things. So, but it's very much us. So I'm glad you like it. We would be offended if you didn't.
Or we just keep it together.
I love what y'all are doing. Amazing. You really are. You're doing a great job.
I don't really.
JP, are you recording?
Did you get that liner right there?
We're going to replay that
ding,
one.
ding.
Now, I'm worried about some of the segments you're added that may carry you down the hill. But
I do want to talk about that. But I think first,
we just got to get to what you've been up to, and let's go from there.
So I'll tell you what I'm doing today.
Okay, what are you doing?
I am a special assistant to the president, Dr. Don Killingsworth at Jack State University. I came from the athletics department where I was an assistant athletic director over there broadcasting for the past 2 years. Okay. And now I'm a special assistant to the president. So we're involved in a lot of things. Whatever the president needs, I get assigned, I go do it.
Really?
Yes, it's fun.
I bet that's a lot of fun. Like what's an assignment that they would give you to do?
To increase community engagement in Clay County.
Okay.
Is that a legit assignment?
We've seen a dip in enrollment. Why are we doing that? What do we need to do? How do we need to market to get those numbers up? Those kind of things.
Do you
or is there any golf scrambles we need to be represented in?
I like that. I think you're the perfect person for that job, but do you have to all of a sudden be kind of like you're working for the president now? Do you have to be serious and put together, or did they just want Bubba being Bubba?
Okay. Are you in a nice way asking me, do I wear a coat and tie or shorts to work?
Basically.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's yes.
Like, do you have to change on your way, or are you going with that?
No, I pretty much wear shorts year round. And that's just
like
kind of
middle school son.
That's kind of I do. I get accused by my wife of dressing like I'm in junior high, and unfortunately, it's rubbed off on my son to some degree.
He has pants on today.
Yeah, he actually looks good today. So, I just wear shorts out of habit, and I'm getting a little older, so now I'm colder more. I'm like those people that need to move to Florida.
We have a blankie if you need a blankie.
No, I'm good now, but it's affecting me more than it used to, and that's not a good sign.
No, it's okay. I'm cold all the time. It's really weird. That's just, I don't know what happened. Just wake up one day, you don't care anymore, and number two, you're cold.
Yeah, I mean, what in the world?
Freeing. Hey, they make things with like pants, and they make long sleeve shirts. If you ever really need to give in.
I have an array of light jackets also.
Light jackets.
Yeah.
So you're also doing Bubba on the Lake.
Yes, the podcast, Bubba on the Lake, available wherever you get podcasts. And we're having a lot of fun with that. That's kind of a continuation of what I used to do. And we're having fun with it. I want to have more fun with it. I'd like to do a few more episodes a week. We'd like to add some more video components to it. So, but we enjoy doing that.
How do you like the podcast space as opposed to radio?
Well, I will say you can compare those, I guess, on several different planes. Amy Beth, one, paycheck better than radio. And or it was at one time. It's strange because I've seen the world change, since when we first started. When Rick and I started the radio show, there were no cell phones and no internet. Okay. That's how much the world has changed in 34 years. So it's amazing. I remember getting a tutorial by somebody who called me. We used to have dial-up bulletin boards. I don't know if y'all had any.
Yeah,
and you dial in and the modem, they had to have the phone. You tied up the family phone. Everybody was mad about that. It sounded like a fat guy with a razor trying to cut, And And you go into that, and this guy said, no, there's this thing called the internet. And he called me, and I went down to Talladega to see it. And yeah, and I'm like, what? Well, he even called it something else then. And
the World Wide Web.
Yeah, something like that. It was the interconnected nets of something. But he brought up a browser, and I'm like, what is a browser? He said, oh, that's how you look at the internet. And it was called Endora. And I thought, Endora, that's Samantha's mom on Bewitched. You know, I mean, how weird. And he brought up like a website for Coca-Cola and one for IBM. And I'm like, no, you know, I couldn't even fathom what I was looking at. You remember?
Right.
I mean, it's like an alien landed and was trying to talk to me. So, and he said, oh, you need to get your web address. So, you know, we went to this page and we got a web address and all of that. Said, now y'all got to start a web page and do all this. So I go back to Gadsden. I'm trying to explain to Rick, and Rick's not technical at all. I said, I've seen this thing called the internet, and there's web pages if you have the browser Endora. And he's looking at me like I got a horn growing out of my head. But we start getting email through the website. And you know, before we had a fax machine. So we'd read the email, and, you know, it was funny because the volume of it was just increasing so much. So we said, we got to get on this internet thing. I don't understand it, but we're going to have to get on top of this deal.
So, and I bet that delighted your soul because you are the tech guy. I mean, that's your jam.
I know it is. And it's you know, I call it nerd fest sometimes. It's not really the real sexy thing to do, you know, have your workbench and, you know, all your electronic stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I guess I've got a gift for it. I'm by trade broadcast engineer. So
okay, I was going to ask you.
Build radio and TV stations. And so it's and I've been a ham operator since I was in high school. So that's, you know, that's even more nerd fest. So but we have a good time with it. Met a lot of very nice people over the years.
I bet you did. So was it your truck in the school pickup line occasionally? Did you have a ham radio tag at one point?
I did at one point, yes.
Okay. I vaguely remember your ham radio car tag.
It's very possible.
Okay.
Very possible.
Okay. I'm just, you know, it's been a while. It's been a while, but that's pretty cool.
You know, those were really cool. The thing is, you could easily look those up on the internet and it give your home address and everything. So if I'd cut them off in traffic, I thought, you know, maybe I don't need that on there. Right. So easy, you know, that you can get it.
So I was doing a little research for today, and I was going through your Facebook page.
Oh my gosh!
Because I figured that was the best representation of what Bubba Bussey was up to. I did see that you purchased, speaking of being a nerd, you got a new ham radio or something you're tinkering with.
Yes.
My question is, because we've talked about this for a while, about when the zombie apocalypse comes and like the end of the world,
right,
and we're all cut off. What for us normies that don't prep? Actually, I did try and prep. I got some beans and some unicorn mac and cheese and put them in a food safe.
Oh,
yeah, but then I went to it and ate it.
Well, I have Pop-Tarts. They'll last forever.
Forever.
You know?
Pop-Tarts. Okay, so what do we do when the world is ending? We can't call you. Like, where do we go?
Yeah, like, how do we get to you so you could?
I think, you know, water will be important. Food and shelter.
I bought a Berkey.
If you get those covered, that's your main thing. Yeah. And then maybe some ammunition for defense.
Okay, we're good
and
on
then,
that.
Then you want to get in touch with the ham guys.
But how do we do that? Do I need to go ahead and purchase?
You would probably, there would probably be somebody fairly close to this area that could be in touch and know what's going on.
Okay.
I got it. We'll find the next ham radio operator with it, like the tag, the car tag, and we'll just follow them to their house. It'll be awkward for a minute. Be like, listen, we come in peace, but we're going to need communication devices.
We do that to each other sometimes.
Okay. Do you really?
Yeah. I have to tell you a funny story about my honeymoon. Betty loves this. So
Betty. Okay.
We go to the Cayman Islands.
Okay.
Never been out of the country before. Okay. So we're in British territory now. So, you know, it's just a whole new thing. Getting married's not enough. Your honeymoon not enough, but we're going out of the country too. Let's complicate this. Okay. So we're in the Cayman Islands, and I had told some of my ham buddies back here at home.
Ham buddies.
I love it.
I need those.
To be on a certain frequency on 20 meters at a certain time, 6 o'clock every night. And if I find a guy with a ham station in the Caymans, I'll call you. What? So they're monitoring every night at 6 o'clock. So we're headed to dinner one night. It's about 5:50. And I pass this guy's house. He has a huge tower, ham antennas all over it. I said, Betty, I got to stop and ask this guy if I can use his
No.
radio. She goes, seriously, you're going to? I said, oh, yeah. I said, it's cool. We're fine with this. So I go right up to the door, knock on the door, tell him who I am, give him my call, tell him I have a schedule with people back in the States at 6 o'clock. He said, well, come on in here. Let's fire it up.
What?
So he fires it up, and I talked to my friends back in Jacksonville
You do not.
from the Cayman Islands. Now,
gotta be
that is
cool.
nerd fest. I get
Yeah,
it.
it is. Yeah, it is.
He didn't think that was weird.
No, he said people do it all the time
See, that's a
because
community.
he's right on the main
Nerd
highway there.
recognize nerd.
So
Yeah.
what you're saying is, if we see somebody with a bunch of towers out of their house, like that's where we should go.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
If the homeowners
Okay.
association hadn't killed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got you.
Ugh,
Oh, speaking of
HOA.
homeowner, hate homeowners
We're in
associations.
serious trouble with our HOA
That's
right now.
ridiculous.
What have you done?
Oh, it's not what she has done. It is what her husband has done.
It's what haven't we done?
Did
This is
you
like
not?
our third strike against us. Well, we have 9 acres, and he just didn't think you had to ask, like, to cut a little trail. Oh, look, we need
on your
to-
own property?
on our own property. We
Don't get me
we,
started.
We do not need to
ridiculous.
belong to places where we just
You-
don't.
You know, with me in the room, this puts y'all in an awkward position. The most liberal people in here.
This is so fun that you said that,
Wait, I don't get it.
because
That means he's more
even
conservative.
more conservative than we are.
So I pushed you to the
I
left.
don't want. No, ew, can't do that.
So
I'm just joking. I used to do that joke on Sean Hannity all the time. He
Oh, I
loved it.
Casual.
it's okay.
Sean
It's all
and I
right. It's
hang
fine.
out.
It's fine. No
It
big
was a
deal.
long time ago. I don't talk too much now.
I bet he'd take your call if you're like, hey, it's Bill.
Yeah.
Everybody answers the call for Bill.
They probably
Nobody
just yell
knows
at
Bill.
you.
More
But
Bubba.
Everybody
Yeah.
knows Bubba. Sorry. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
All right, look. So we've dabbled into the technical.
Yes.
Okay. Which means we may have some questions
Please.
because
I'm on my.
you
edge
know
of my
what
seat.
you know what I'm going to ask about, because it has to do with Huntsville and Redstone and all the alien stuff coming out.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. Did y'all see those files last
Yeah,
night?
what do
the
you think
heck?
about all that? Like, how are we frame that for us?
Let me tell you, I actually have Dr. Travis Taylor from Skinwalker Ranch, who also was on the government's secret UAP, or I like to stay with UFO. I don't want to change.
Yeah, because I don't know what UAP even means.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
kind of,
tried
but
to
not
they
really.
tried to hip it up. It's still unidentified flying object. Let's
Yeah.
just go with that.
Hip it
Yeah.
up.
But I'm going to have him on the podcast this week to try to break some of that down. But you know, Trump, when he went in initially, he said he was going to release all this stuff, and he's been under some pressure from some folks saying, "Hey, you're not doing what you said you're going to do," and he takes what he says he's going to do very serious. I'll tell you a story about that if I haven't already. So they're pushing these things out, and I don't know if y'all saw some of them. It's some very intriguing and interesting things that we really can't explain.
So, what do you think? Do you think it's A, real and we should deal with it? And B, do you think it's demonic or is it something else?
Great question. How long do we have on this segment?
You got time.
We got about 10 minutes.
So, Amy Beth, there's the way I think we can only look at it two ways. One, everybody's on the same dimension. Okay, that would be where we are today, the traffic on 280, the Artemis that just went around the moon. We're all on this dimension, right? If you are a Christian and a believer and you believe the Bible, we know for a fact there's other dimensions. We know that, you know, demons and angels are around us. We're not privileged to see that. Probably don't want to. We'd be scared to death. There's you know, this warfare going on. There's different layers of levels of heaven and things. So if we're a believer, we have to accept the fact that there are multiple dimensions going on at the same time. So then that brings us to the question of these things we're seeing. Are they in our dimension? Are they just some kind of physical anomaly that we don't know? Like, you know, every now and then we'll get a picture of something down in the ocean. We had no idea it even still existed. Maybe it's just something very rare here. Or are we dealing with an interdimensional type traveler that is crossing over like a demon or angel has done to react to human beings? And that opens a whole another question of where these things could be coming from. Now, I know for a fact that our government when we get cool toys like the stealth bomber and the stealth fighter, they've been working on those for 20 years, and they kept it secret because they didn't want the Russians and Chinese to know what we were doing. But yet they take them out and they have to test them. So we know for a fact that for the B-2 bomber, the wing, if you go back and look at UFO reports in the 70s, people were seeing a bat plane looking thing that made no sound. It was quiet, all this. They have tapes of commercial pilots saying, I see something in front of us, but it's not on my radar. The ground people saying, it ain't on our radar. You must be imagining it. He said, I can see it. I can see. And these were military pilots who were seeing these things. So we know we tested them. So what we're seeing now is either something that we're testing, and I think that's very possible. We're seeing something that the enemy is testing, which I don't think they're that advanced yet. Now, some people think they are. I don't think they're quite to that point. Or we're seeing some kind of interdimensional space traveler from somewhere else. Now, how does that affect us from our beliefs? Being a Christian, again, I think God made it all. He made us. He may have made something else somewhere else. Who says we have to limit him, right? Now, he doesn't share that with us, but he doesn't have to. He's God. So whoever it is, God's still in control. He may have a different deal with them. I don't know, but he's still in. So it doesn't shake my religious roots. I know a lot of people have implied, hey, if there's aliens out there, then our whole vision of God's wrong. I don't think that's right, because it says he created everything. So, but it's interesting to look at some of this stuff and see what it is. When you see these things moving at speeds that humans could not survive, we just collapse inside moving this kind of speed. So it's strange. It's interesting to look at, but it could be demonic, as you brought up. And, I've thought many times, if we're going to have a one world government one day, which we are told in the book of Revelations that we will, the only way you would ever get everybody to agree to that is if the planet was under attack from another planet. That would be the only way you'd ever get everybody to play together. And I think that if you have UFO sightings and a rapture happens, then, hey, they're stealing our people. We better unite. You could see how that could play out. Just as a theory. I'm not saying that's the way it's going to be, but you could just see that as a possible theory.
Do you think that, because in my head, I listened to a lot of podcasts this weekend, because apparently, allegedly, they called a bunch of pastors in, the government did, to have a briefing on what's about to come out so they could prepare their congregations. But as I'm listening to all the things come out from congressional members, from, the DOJ, from pastors, it may be a both and. It's like maybe there's some government testing, there's some demonic activity. I'm thinking it's all converging. But what do you make of them kind of on the front end? I mean, before the day of disclosure, whatever's coming in July, bringing in the pastors.
Okay, is that true?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
I saw it on the internet, so that must mean it's true. So I saw that. Did that? I think a good starting point is: did that meeting actually happen? And do we have any pastors that were in on it?
Well,
I think that'd be a good starting point.
I was listening to Steve Deace, because he on Theology Thursday, what he did on Thursday, was talking about this, and he had actually Billy Hollowell, who spoke at the
TP
pastor
Faith
summit that we went to, was on CBN with some guy, and Billy was talking about that he has heard from several pastors that supposedly were there. Now, what Steve was saying, and it's interesting because he goes to a charismatic church, he's Assemblies of God. He was like, every pastor that I have heard that was there was from a charismatic church, which I thought was interesting as well. I just don't know what to make of it. I'm with you. I don't know if it actually happened, but if it did, what does that mean?
Well, I think it goes back again to our religious roots. If we discover that they are things that look like turtles, let's say, and they're roaming around one of the moons of Saturn, does that change my relationship with or my belief in God? No, just something else he made out there, right? I mean, so I don't think it's going to be, to me, it would not make that big a difference. Some people it might, I don't know.
I guess I go back to COVID, and it kind of makes me nervous because they got ahead of the messaging with COVID.
Right.
And they went to the
we
pastors.
handled that well, didn't we?
We were so good on that. We should do it again, you guys.
Yeah, this is what's scary. Aren't we just set up for a repeat?
Well,
Has anything changed?
nothing has changed. And I was actually, in addition to the pastors conference, and in a second, I'd like to stay in space if we can. I did see that the Nazis had planned a fake alien invasion all those years ago, which is so interesting that then you hear this talk coming out, and what does it all do?
What were the Nazis going to do?
Well, they were going to fake it, and then that they could take control, of everything, because that just made so much sense.
But listen to what we're saying. Do we sound like a bunch of crazies? Like
I think we're reacting to the news.
I mean, it's just the news of the day. But that was interesting that it came across my feed. I think I shared it with y'all, but you're like, wow. So this has been going along for a while. But I love what you said, because it's what we come down to when it comes to conspiracies, is God is still on the throne.
Yep.
He still expects us to take dominion of his creation.
Yep.
And there's just more we have to learn. But it's so interesting. Okay. I know you want... We talked about it this weekend by text a little bit. Could we stay in space? What do you think about the Artemis, and then even backing up moon landing stuff? What's your thought?
Love the
What's
Artemis.
Your thought? Okay.
We're behind on the lander. The next mission was supposed to land on the moon, but they're a little behind on that. They were behind on the initial lunar module too, so I guess it happens. I think it's great. I think it's 20 years overdue. And we need to have a base on the moon. We need to start looking at Mars. We're travelers. We're built that way. God put that spirit in us to get out and travel and go over the next hill. And we've subdued the earth, and we can go anywhere on this planet now, South America, wherever. And the South Pole, not just South America, South Pole.
I was like,
we've conquered South America. I think Brazil got that covered. The South Pole.
Yeah.
And
all them places.
All them places south of here.
We've been there, y'all.
No, it's good. That's
Montgomery,
so good.
We got Montgomery.
Yeah.
But also interplanetary travel.
We got to go.
Yeah.
We got to go. Just like that next mountain peak. We need to be on the moon. We need to be shooting for Mars. And I think we need that as a humanity to keep working toward it. And, a lot of people forget, if we had not had the Apollo project, we would not have been building computers. We would not have been building communication devices at high frequency that turned into cell phones and all the things we have now. The internet, all of that was spill over one way or another of the Apollo project. And when we challenge our technical bounds, like we will go into Mars, good things come out of it every time. That's how discoveries are made.
What are we going to do on the moon? Wait, okay, if we build a permanent government housing up on the moon, what are we going to do? Are you in favor of the mining for all the things?
Oh, I think there'd be some of that.
Can you plant gardens on the moon?
It would probably have to be in a hothouse type thing. Well, it would be like what our scientists do at the South Pole. Okay, not South America, South Pole. They live there now. We keep scientists there all the time, and they're studying that environment and the ice and the different things they find in the ice drillings and all that. So I think for a scientific standpoint, we go, and then the practical living of it will come along later.
What you want to ask?
I just have a question for you. When Caitlin was on Friday, we were talking about the presidential assassination attempt, and she said she really wasn't into dying for the Republic. Would you go to space and take that on? Does that sound fun?
I wanted to be
not
an astronaut.
Not that you would die, because they did it pretty well. But I mean,
well, it's a risk, no doubt.
30 seconds.
When I was younger, I wanted to be an astronaut. Now that my kids are grown, I probably could go.
Bubba Bussey volunteers. Y'all, we've got to take a quick break, and we will be back because he's going to stick with us. You got it till 11?
Okay.
I'm
here.
Okay.
Look at that. It's a great day. We'll be right back.
We're with Allison Sinclair, and we are joined by Admiral Brian Christine, who is the Assistant Secretary for Health at HHS. And it is a thrill and it is an honor, sir, to have you here. Thank you.
Oh, it's a privilege to be here. It is so fun to have come back home to Sweet Home, Alabama, to come see my family and to do this, to work with y'all, to do this podcast to help get the messaging out that we need to, so the American people know the good things that we're doing in Washington, the good things that Secretary Kennedy and President Trump are doing. And so as we start off, I have to give a shout out, obviously, to our president and to Secretary Kennedy, because they are working so hard to make this country healthier than she's ever been, to make Americans stronger than we've ever been, to make America great again. So thanks for the opportunity.
So before we jump into those values issues and talking about making our country healthy again, which is such a relief, could you tell those who may not know you or have heard about you, because you are a legend, a little bit about your background?
Sure.
As we jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born, my father was in the Army. I was born in what used to be West Germany. Now, if you're old enough like me, you remember that one time there was an East and a West Germany during the Cold War. My father was a tanker. In other words, he was in armor in the Army, tanks. And we had a lot of armor assets deployed along the East-West border during that time. I was born in 1963, at really the height of the Cold War. So I was born in West Germany. My father ultimately went Special Forces. In his second tour of Vietnam, he was really severely injured, lost an arm and a leg, got out of the military. We ultimately settled in Augusta, Georgia, had some family there. I went to medical school at Emory in Atlanta, and then I came over to UAB for my residency. And that's how I got to Birmingham. I did my residency in urologic surgery, completed my residency, and then I joined a urology group here in Birmingham. And I practiced with that group for 24, 25 years, really subspecializing in men's health. That was kind of my gig. Then I got the call for the nomination to be the Assistant Secretary for Health from President Trump. Went through the confirmation process. Ultimately was confirmed by the Senate. I was confirmed into this position last November, and here you are. So now I'm in Washington as the Assistant Secretary for Health.
Were you expecting that call? I mean, how does this happen?
Yeah,
you're just like
no, that's a great
Brian
question.
Christine in Birmingham, Alabama, and you get a call that you're the next Rachel Levine. What's her boy name?
Richard.
Richard Levine.
Richard.
Levine.
You're
That's exactly
Richard.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, I am President Trump upgrade from Richard Levine.
We would say
there
so.
We're very grateful
Yes,
for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I really think, listen, I think one of the reasons that President Trump nominated me and that Secretary Kennedy wanted me in the position is because I practiced medicine on the front lines. I was kind of a Main Street doctor. And I think they liked the idea of having someone who really understood medical care and delivery from a Main Street level. Personally, I think also one of the reasons that President Trump wanted me in this position, because there's really not another visual that shows the difference between the horrible Biden administration and the really righteous and good Trump administration, and the fact that you have me in the same position as Levine. I'm a man who wears men's clothing, and that really says all you need to know about the last administration and this administration. For sure.
I always thought he could have done a better job, like zhuzhing it up a little bit. Like it was like he put on some earrings and a dress, and that was it. Like, but we can work a little harder. But I think America, the juxtaposition is overwhelming from what y'all are doing versus what he was doing.
Well, no, exactly. When you look at Levine, I mean, again, his agenda was, no question about it, the transgender and minors agenda was so important for him. All he wanted to do was to tell little boys they could be little girls, little girls they could be little boys, and then recommend castrating surgeries, castrating chemicals, hormones, and do irreversible harm to these kids. So if you go back and look at what he talked about, mostly that was it. I mean, Levine advocated for removing any kind of age restriction on transgender treatment in kids. He advocated for those sex-rejecting surgeries. That's what we call them. People say transgender surgery. No, in this administration, we talk about sex-rejecting surgeries and procedures because that's what they are. And that was his big focus, right? I personally believe he was in that position as a statement. I personally believe he was in that position to be an eyepiece, not because he really cared about the health of the country. So I'm really happy to be in this position to be able to reverse and to right so many of the wrongs that the last administration and Levine, perpetrated on the country.
So in this position, you're able to do a lot of good. Could you talk to us about your roles and responsibilities?
Sure. As the Assistant Secretary for Health, you have kind of a 3-level role. One is to help form healthcare policy, to work across the different divisions of the Department of Health and Human Services, to work with the CDC and NIH and FDA, and work with HHS leadership to help form healthcare policy. So we help form the policy. We help implement that policy. There's also a communication role, which really appeals to me, in that we help to communicate the policy to healthcare establishments, healthcare providers.
Welcome back to The Right Side. I am Amy Beth Shaver with Allison Sinclair and JP. We're also joined in the studio, just hanging out with us, is Juliana Holman. Hello, Juju. And Hunter Buss. It's good to see you guys. But, we're all here supporting staff for Bubba.
Listen, I'm so
is here
honored to
with
be
us.
here. I love what y'all are doing. This is so
Keep saying
neat.
that, and it just makes me want to crawl under the table.
Yeah, I'm like, do you
come
really-
on. Y'all are doing a
are
great
you-
job.
Are you sure?
Yes.
We have so many questions. And so what we're going to do is stick with, since we've done space, we've done technical, we're going to stick with the hantavirus because allegedly that is becoming the new COVID. And we're saying not so fast. So we're going to talk about that for a minute. And then from there, we're going to go into all the advice you have for us
Okay.
on our way to trying to be like Bubba. So, okay, y'all. What did you think initially when you're like the hantavirus? Were you like, stop in the name of God? This cannot be happening again. Like, what did you guys think when hantavirus, people are dying? I had to look up what it was. Then people on the interwebs were saying, well, Pfizer already has a vaccine. And I'm like, of course they have a vaccine. Thoughts? Discuss.
If you have a ship that is contaminated with something, don't you isolate it? I mean, I've watched these shows on TV back to Quincy. The first thing you do
That
is
was a good show.
secure the scene.
Yes.
If they'd have done that with John Bonet, we'd probably know who the killer was today. Those kind of things. Secure the scene. Keep the ship out. Don't let it dock, and don't let the people get off that have the virus till we get a handle on it. I'm not a doctor, but that's my simple advice.
I think you're being way too rational. No, you let the virus escape into the world. Did y'all hear that one of the passengers was on a flight back to Paris and got sick on the plane?
Okay, listen. Do we know how you get the hantavirus?
Well, yes. I mean, you originally, this ding dong ornithologist.
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 A bird person.
That's what you are, actually.
I am.
Are you old and bird watching?
No,
these days?
I thought that meant if your feet hurt. I'm sorry. I was totally off wrong end there.
Well, no, let's go with ornithologist who visited a landfill in Argentina and went digging through the landfill to find some stupid bird. An ornithologist is a bird watcher. But you get,
Was the bird buried in the landfill?
I guess it maybe
What an
builds
odd thing.
nests. But why? Okay, you go to South America, the only strain that transmits between
It's close to the South Pole.
why we haven't explored much because it has hantavirus. But yeah, you go down there. The only strain that is that can transmit between humans is found there. So this dingle dip goes there, digs through trash, I guess wafts up all the rodent poop, dust, and then gets on a ship.
Which is such a good idea.
So now people are dead. One is landed in Paris that is sick. Can you imagine being stuck? That'd be awful. Getting the notification.
Well, see,
that
right
you were
now
on
they
the
ought to
flight.
shut that airport down and
you
not
need-
let that get out of that airport.
Yeah.
Charles de Gaulle, isn't that it? Like you're
Yes.
just going to shut the whole thing down?
You're going to have to.
I'm still backed up on, you went to Argentina to dig through the trash to find a bird. Are you looking for bird bones so that you
mean-
can do like what?
He could probably get a time over at Shelby County landfill to do some digging if he wanted it.
Just come here, guys.
But we don't have what he's looking for, apparently. So I don't know. I just got a text that said that Dr. Brian Christine, who's our friend, Birmingham native, that is the new I hate saying this, the new Rachel Levine, the
Except for-
assistant secretary, except he's not a tranny.
Then he knows
real
he's a
male
man.
version.
Like he knows he's a
Yeah.
man.
Right.
So that's great.
So he allegedly is doing a press conference and is on the leading team on the ground in Nebraska. I guess it's now in Nebraska to to
Oh, that's horrible.
stop the hanta virus.
So would it pass kind of like any virus, just
Yeah.
from person to person? If
Mhm.
it's airborne,
Yeah.
you're in
Like-
trouble. And nothing you can do with it.
But the only strain is the one that's found in your South America trash
Right.
landfill.
That we had to go dig through.
So I'm not doing it, y'all. I'm not wearing a mask again.
Nope, not doing it.
I'm just not.
Absolutely not. Well, you knew in a couple weeks that this was all just a scamdemic. Like you just knew. You're like, come on, man. So no more stand there squares, no more arrow circles, no more not playing the game. But we need to know where it came from. And it's from small rodents and rats.
It's their poop and saliva.
Like
In the landfills.
in the landfill. It's just like that, like, oh. So no, but I'm interested to see what Dr. Christine says. Can we text him and ask him for an update since he
Maybe
sat
he'd
in that
come on.
chair not too long ago?
Well,
I
And-
hope it's
and
been
see what he thinks.
disinfected since then. Because he sees some bad stuff.
He
You know,
does see some
I'm going to be
bad- he
riding none of
does.
that back when we to the lake.
Burn the chair.
Yeah.
well, it's like we'll pass on Bubba's recommendation. Just shut it all down. It's
Shut it
not
down.
that difficult.
Yeah. No, it's
Know where
really
it
not.
is. Isolate it so we don't have to shut down the whole state or county or something.
That's
Just
right.
One little area, shut it down.
It's so logical. It almost hurts.
If they could have just kept that boat out there till it run its course with everybody and was gone.
I mean,
Did y'all hear? I heard that it was like to get out to the boat took like 5 days by boat.
what?
So they had to fly like an airplane and people had to jump out of the plane because
Mm-mm,
doctors
mm-mm.
were getting sick and land on the boat.
Allison, what web page
Yeah.
are you visiting?
It's the one.
Somebody, JP, check her scrolling history, please.
What?
Does
You're on
that
the dark
sound
web.
unrealistic?
It sounds like a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
Let me get my
Are you
tinfoil
reading a
hat.
script
See
to a
that.
future James Bond? movie?
Okay, look. Okay, look. We started with aliens, and now y'all think I'm crazy for doctors jumping out of planes.
They could. It could be Doctors Without Borders based out of South America.
Yeah. Or the South
That's what
Pole,
it
either
could be,
one.
the
They're so
South
close.
Pole. I mean, you just don't know.
Oh my word!
Okay. All right. Well, so we all agree we're not doing it again. Like Heather Land, that funny girl says, I ain't doing it.
Not gonna do it.
Not doing it. All right. So
But do you now feel the urge to go get toilet paper? I do. Just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just from before, I'm like, oh my God, I better go get some. Still got some left from last time, but I'm going to go get some more.
At least you have the radio. You have the ham radio.
As long as I have
All
a
this
wire and a
stuff.
battery, I'm probably get in touch with somebody.
You have water.
yeah, you do. You got a lot of water.
A lot
around
of
you.
water.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
safe. All right. So pivoting from the nasty, is it hanta? Does it matter? Whatever. The
Hanta.
virus.
In the South, it's just hanta.
Hanta.
It's just
Virus.
hantavirus.
Hanta.
We ain't
Hanta.
doing it. Let's go to tips, tricks, and advice for us.
Y'all
Your
are doing a
thoughts?
great job. You're doing a great job.
Well, I'm just curious, like because you started out in radio, you started out as a JP actually, right? You were an engineer,
I've done
producer,
it all.
kind of everything.
I've done it all. Yep. Carried the
And-
trash out. You know it.
And so you made your way up. I'm curious if you have any like absolutely would do it over 100% or absolutely not regret that move.
So in my career, I look back and I would say most of the times we had a why in the road, we made the right decision, believe it or not, looking back. We always look back in our life and go, well, I didn't do too good on that one. Probably had a little clear operating agreement toward the end. But, other than that, no, I think we're pretty good. I think the podcasting world has changed everything because used to, you ladies had no access to the world. I mean, you had none.
We were just in the kitchen.
You had to get on a TV station and then you only had, I got
he
that,
didn't
Allison.
want to comment
I got
on
it.
that one.
I got it. But you couldn't be seen worldwide. Now you get a laptop, $150, and you can broadcast worldwide. It's just amazing how things have changed. I think y'all are doing a great job. Set looks good. Y'all do a good show. Y'all are easy on the eye for everybody.
Thank
Well,
you.
yeah, JP does have to deal with us every day. We try.
I
My
have
husband
mine.
Really
is just
do.
in awe. He's like, "Why, bless it." I'm like, "I promise
Do
we're
your
fun."
husbands watch every day? Do they give y'all feedback?
Well, Chris watches a lot. He has it on in his office or he'll listen on the way home and then he'll have just hilarious comments, or he'll quote back what we said, which is funny.
Jared is
wild.
only watching today because you're on.
Who? Oh, really?
My husband, yeah.
So
He's like, oh yeah, it's Bubba's day. I'll watch. Thanks. honey. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank
But
you
it's
so
been
no,
much.
I think
lot
you're
of
doing good. I
fun.
think it takes time to build up a following. I think what you're doing is very interesting. Y'all are very entertaining. It's fun. I think you just won't get as big a guest as you can get. And, I've noticed with a lot of these things, they kind of trot along and all of a sudden they just exponentially grow. So that'll probably happen too. I think y'all are doing
Be
great.
fun.
If you can get, I think the biggest problem with the podcasters is learning how to monetize what they're doing.
Yes.
And the sales effort, because if not, you're just doing a hobby, and that wears out after a while. So
Yeah.
to make it a good business model, I think is a real challenge. And I think it would be better, and I think there's probably an industry out there for what I would call like commercial buyers that just specialized in podcasts, smaller podcast things across the country, things that might not be the top 10, because you can string a lot of those together and get a lot of reach too. So
Would that be something Hunter would be interested in?
no, I think you're gonna have
You
to
have
have,
different plans for him?
we used to have network buyers in radio and TV like Cats. I know y'all have probably heard that name before with a K. I think there needs to be some podcast clearinghouses like that would say, hey, we want to
That's a
spend so
great
much of
idea.
money with
Mhm.
you, but we represent, a big client from across the country, and they give us, $20 million to spend, and we want to spend so many with y'all and some other podcasts that when we string together their numbers, we're getting a good return on it.
So when your daughter Caitlin came to you and said, hey, Dad, this crazy lady named Allison gave me a call and said I should do this. What in the world were you thinking?
Well, Caitlin is our spirited child, and
Don't
her and
say.
Hunter love them both dearly, but they're different personalities. Hunter's more laid back. Caitlin's more throw more coal on the fire and stoke the fire.
Mhm.
We got to get to 88 miles an hour if we're going to make this thing work. I'm really surprised that she hasn't been involved with it already. But she's busy. She works very hard and does a lot of things in D.C. that I can't talk about. And so I was threatened slightly before we went on there. And she's a natural for it. I really expect her to continue in that line or end up being a congressman one day. I mean, she has a real passion for it, and she knows the ins and outs. So.
Mhm.
She really does. She is a hoot, and we're so glad that Connor and Allison made that connection. It was very fun. Okay, so let's.
So how did Connor end up? By the way, did he ever get him was he married or anything?
Connor is not, bless it. Connor is just trying to stay alive in his first big boy job.
Yep.
He's working for Brassfield and Gorey as a
Oh,
project manager
cool.
and has just been dumped in the throes of madness. So I don't know if you remember like that first job where it's like, he literally was like, wait, we don't
get a summer break.
We don't have spring break. We don't have summer break. Like I can't just, sorry, son. So, but we're working. JP trying to find him a wife, trying to find Connor a wife.
We did tell
Put Hunter on the list.
Hunter a wife. Now we got to
we'll
add
pray
Hunter.
you up, wives. It's okay.
Well,
You
I
know,
got to
we're
deal
on
with
it.
these two every day, so I think if I added another in the mix, I'd
Right,
go
right.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, because my full-time job is keeping them in line. So,
This is true.
Yeah.
I think if you ask Chat GPT, it comes up with that line too. Since JP just
yeah,
has to
It
keep
does.
the
And
girls
when
in
we
line.
go places together, no one knows what to do with the three of us. It's kind of funny. That's the fun part.
they think
probably get a
we're
few
his
looks.
Two moms.
yeah, they
Yeah.
think they're my two married moms.
I mean, we've been at Jim and Nick's before, and the guy like Allison says, and I could be your Mars. Did you say you're old enough to? What?
Allison says, we're old enough to be your moms, right?
And so the guy just delivered the food and put his hands up and backed away. You're just like, no.
I mean,
Like,
JP could be y'all's boy toy or something. I mean, who knows?
It's like,
I go either way.
bless his heart. He brought us Mother's Day coffee the other day, and it said Mom 1 and Mom 2. And we're like, it's just so confusing.
we're just taking this as far as it can go, Okay, so y'all were having a discussion before we got on the air.
Oh gosh,
About-
we talked about so much.
Well, we did, and we'll only go to the news if we have to. Well, not really have to, but I do have some questions. But y'all were describing life on the lake.
Yes.
And it sounds delightful. Okay.
It's the best kept secret.
I
It's
mean,
almost like a
if you
code
tell
you're not
everybody-
supposed to tell everybody
Oh,
because they'll all
okay,
want to get
they
down
don't
there.
know. They don't have fun. They have a terrible time. Totally. It's awful. It's awful.
You know, we had heard about the fairy dust, that if you get down to the lake and you hang out too much, the fairy dust will get on you and you have to be there full time.
Right.
And that's what happened to us.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I just in my Facebook research of Bubba's life,
Oh no.
I came across.
Again,
I don't know.
where
we
is she
probably
scrolling?
We can't pull it up, but Betty
Breaking it
having
down.
the best time, and I noticed she got more likes and shares and comments than any of your other content.
Oh, sure.
And she is just living it up at Lake Martin. I'm like, we are on the lame side of Lake Martin because none of that happens. I mean, the best thing
That was
have.
at Lake Martin Mini Mall. So everybody
What is
can
the
come
mini
to,
mall?
You don't know where the mini mall is at Lake Martin?
I have never been to the. I'm telling you, we're on
Allison,
the old
you got to
people's
get out.
side.
You got to get out.
Where?
Okay.
Where's the mini? How do you get to the mini?
It's right there on Highway 63 where it comes into the road that goes over the dam.
Yeah, the one that's closed right now.
No. Well,
one-
63 is closed
Yeah.
further up to the top,
But-
which, by the way, how long is it going to take? Y'all could have built a clover leaf by now. Let's get that thing finished, okay? We were told 6 months. We're going on 2 years. Come on.
It's bad because then they put in that Publix and that Marshalls
Yeah,
that I love
I
to go
know.
shop at, and now you can't even get in the parking lot. But hold on, so the mini mart does not sound
Mini
like
mall.
Mini
Mini
mall
mall.
does
Yeah.
not sound like the cool place to be. Like if somebody said, "Hey, I'm going to the mini mall tonight," I'm
Oh,
like,
it is. They have all kind of fun stuff. Now, I'm not on the, this is not a paid advertisement, but they've got all kind of lakey stuff you would need, furniture and
okay.
Ooh.
pots and all that stuff. But it's also a great,
Oh, I think
kind
I
of
do know
meeting
what you're
place.
talking about.
do what?
I think I know what you're talking about. Okay.
But they got a big outside area where you can have, food served and bands play and all that kind of stuff. And of course, we have 2 pizza places that also have bands that play.
Is that right
outside.
by the Lake Martin Pizza?
Well, Lake Martin Pizza is one of them. And then there's one called By the Slice down in Eclectic, which is a fun city to say, by the way. Eclectic. It just rolls right out.
Eclectic.
It does.
I don't
It's
know.
fun to say Eclectic.
By
Where
the
you
slice.
headed? Down to Eclectic.
Is that by Real Town?
Not exactly, but
I
you
need
just
to
go,
get out more.
look,
don't
you
I?
go down 63, you're going to hit Eclectic
So
before
what
you hit Tallahassee.
do you eat? Okay, if it's like this fun party scene, how do you? Because my trouble would be still getting in bed by 9.
Well, good news. We all go to bed fairly early. From my former life, I still go to bed about 8 o'clock every night, which I don't like. I wish I could stay up late till 9 and, like everybody else. So Thursday night, if you remember in college, we used to call Little Friday,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
You back in,
Yeah, I remember that. That was
and so at the lake, it's Little Friday every Thursday. People get on their pontoon boats and go out to eat. And we have 5 or 6 eating places you can get to by the water. So, and everybody will start calling everybody about 3 o'clock. You don't even
nobody
work.
wants to cook.
You just don't make a plan. Thursday night we're going out. And then you have your normal Friday, Saturday night stuff you go out to.
That's so fun.
And most of the time we've learned on Saturday, you go to the city and get away from the water where all the weekenders are at.
Oh, time out.
What's
Do you
the
mean
city?
Alex
Sure.
City?
Yes, Alexander
Okay.
City.
What do
better
you
known
do
as
there?
Alex City.
Alex
What?
City. Yeah, you
Seriously,
got to
Oh,
say
what
it
is
right.
there to do
We
there?
go eat again.
Like it's like a cruise. This
Betty
is like
says-
a 24/7
Betty says
cruise.
that we eat at the lake like we're going to the electric chair.
I don't know if our lake has as much fun as y'all do.
Now, what
We're up on
lake you-
Tennessee. We're on Wilson.
Oh, you're
So
way on up there.
We're way on up there's where Chris's family's from. And originally when you tell people that's where you go, they're like, is there a lake up there? And I'm like, I promise we have an
Yeah.
address. But y'all have a lot of fun.
We do. In our neighborhood, there's a lot of golf carts, and it ain't Peachtree City, but it looks like it sometimes.
That's fun.
And we get around and just find something to do. And of course, you have to play pickleball, or you're socially scorned.
You
Are you
play
good at it?
pickleball?
Yes, I do. I do, and I'm proud to say I do.
Wait, I wasn't really paying attention. I was doing something over here, and I heard somebody say, "Do you pickle?" And I was like, "Is that how you ask?"
Well,
Did
I've
you
got a
pickle?
pickler in my house, and Molly is very committed to the pickle. And so you said you get socially scorned. They pickle
Now, I'm an
because they're
old-
great tennis
I'm
players.
an old tennis player, so I enjoy it. It's kind of a natural
Oh,
transition
didn't know that.
because you know the shots to make and you
Yes,
know
you
where
do.
people should and shouldn't be. And I don't like the sound of it. It's got a hollow, it's like a
Yeah,
wiffle
it's
ball.
a-
On,
yeah.
Mhm.
I like the tennis racket sound. It's more
Mhm.
like a musical instrument. But since I'm older and now when I go on the tennis court, it looks like a football field. So, I like the pickleball court a whole lot more because I got one step here, one step there. I got my area covered.
Have you seen that commercial, the pickleball commercial, where I don't know what they're betting on. I think it's probably beer. And it's an older couple trying to play the younger couple. And the younger couple's like,
Yeah.
and then they are destroyed
Right.
by
Yeah.
our age people.
Right.
It's delightful.
By the
I am for
elderly.
that. By the elderly.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I don't to see when I go out to play is a guy with a ankle brace on that smells like Ben Gay because they don't want to run, so they're great with their shots. They know exactly where they want to go. They just give you ankle
Oh.
breakers all the time,
Yeah.
because they're not going to run. So they may, and I hate to see that. No,
That's no good.
I'm like, we're in trouble, boys.
Okay, well, speaking of sports, you said you were going to bring back your golf game on our side of the lake is a very, very sophisticated golf course. Like
right.
it's
like raise your
exclusive.
pinky. Kinda.
Oh, it's exclusive.
Okay.
And it's called Lake Winds. And it is like you have to wear your nicest tank top.
Okay. I like
and
that.
Flip-flops that aren't completely blown out.
For sure.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So
A
when
toe
you
hold.
come over, yes, you come
Yeah.
hang out with us. But what have you been playing golf? Do you do fancy golf on the other side?
I
Or
used to play a little bit of golf. Never was super, just very average.
By the way, you weren't at Regions this year.
I know I hadn't been there the last 2 years.
Even, we were convinced you had been there. And
I
we missed
think
out.
I had a feed pop up of years ago.
That was in my
Maybe it was
research.
confusing to some people, but anyway, no, I used to play golf, and then I had bad knees, and I didn't play as much. I've had a knee replacement. I'm fine now. I'm back playing pickleball, all that. So I want to try to get the golf game back again. And the course that you speak of is probably the closest to my house that I'm allowed to get on.
Okay, so that's it. So when you come over, are you like banned from the other courses? Or you just
No, I'm just not a member.
member?
I'm not a member.
You're not a member.
No.
Okay, well, you can come to our course, and when you do, text me. We'll come out, and I'll just run around while you play. It'll be so much fun.
Look, I literally need to just start chipping balls and putting and, getting this knee and everything back into moving that way and see if it'll take it. It may not take it. I might go,
Well,
I'd rather walk,
in my research of you not playing at Regions, it was you with John Daly, which reminded me that I do.
Oh,
I
what
think
a
if
character.
I ever
Oh, my
had
word.
millions of dollars, I want to build a golf course. I don't even know what that means. What do? You like design a golf course and put out some grass. And in that golf course, you don't have to smoke cigarettes, but you have to wear tank tops and
You want full
maybe
redneck
have to
golf.
have a mullet.
yeah,
Yeah, and like redneck golf.
right.
But that's the protocol. I think that would be so much fun.
And draw a big circle around the hole, about 10 foot. If your ball rolls in that circle, it's good.
Just
I
a
love
giant
it.
hula
Yeah.
I love
hoop.
it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it'd be great. Now, does Betty play golf?
No.
Is she going to play with you?
1 minute, that's it.
Wait,
Betty
for
does not
real?
play golf.
For real.
She tried once upon a time, and she got in trouble for driving the cart up on the green, and she has not been back since. And
I feel that. I feel the weight of that. Okay.
yeah, I assumed
Okay.
that she knew that. My bad.
Did she mahjong? Did she play
Oh
mahjong?
yes. Oh, we
Oh,
gotta
she
have
does all
that
the
too.
things.
Oh,
Okay.
you got to have that too. Yeah.
All right,
When you get
well-
done playing pickleball, you got to do that.
Oh, it's so much fun. I would think after all these years, you should not assume any knowledge by Caitlin or Betty.
Right.
Okay. Just I'll remind
That's-
you of that
Yes.
periodically.
Yes.
Well, I mean, and we'll just have to talk about all the things then next time. We'll just make
Can I
our
come
list.
back?
Would
Will
you
y'all let me
please come back?
again? Yes.
Whenever you
absolutely. I'd
want to
love
come back, come
Yes.
back.
Okay. And I'm just going to say this. I don't know. I know you have a president's job, but like she's out of town Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you're swinging by,
Yeah.
just
You need a
come.
co-host?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just come
And
on
then the
up.
week after, I'm alone for the whole week.
Oh, yeah.
So,
sure. Yep.
you know.
That's just how it usually ends with partners. Trust me.
On that note, y'all, Bubba Bussey, thank you so much.
Thank you,
This
ladies,
was
for having
so much
me.
fun. I really can't believe it's
Y'all
the
are doing
first
a
time
great
I've ever
job.
met you.
I'm just say I knew him when.
Knew him when. You heard it here first. Y'all stick around. We've got lots of news on the other side. We'll be right back.
Country at large. Okay. The Surgeon General falls under the Assistant Secretary for Health. So when we have our new Surgeon General in, and I'm happy to say that Dr. Casey Means will be having her hearing before the Senate on the 25th of this month, I believe. She'll be an amazing Surgeon General. We're going to work so well together. But together we'll be advancing the message of the Department of Health and Human Services and President Trump to the American people. So there's that communication aspect to the role. And then also, the Assistant Secretary for Health can serve as a civilian, or they can do as I did, which is request commission from the president. So I have been commissioned as the senior admiral at the Public Health Service, specifically the Commission Corps. So you have the U.S. Public Health Service, and then you have something called the Commission Corps, and these are commissioned officers. I'm a 4-star admiral. I lead the Commission Corps, and so one of the other roles I have is as a flag officer, an admiral, is to lead the Commission Corps of the Public Health Service. And that's about 5,400 doctors, nurses, pharmacists, therapists. Believe it or not, we've got a few veterinarians in there as well,
Wow.
dentists, dermatologists. We are Secretary Kennedy's tip of the spear strike force for public health initiatives. And it's really a privilege to wear this uniform. It's a privilege to receive the salutes that I receive from other members of other uniformed services and my own officers. To wear this uniform is a privilege, but that's a big part of what I do, is to lead the Commission Corps, because we really are the edge of the knife, the tip of the spear for public health in the United States. And I have officers deployed other parts of the world as well, primarily in the U.S. We work at Guantanamo Bay, for instance. We work with ICE agencies. We work with DHS. We supply doctors and nurses to the Indian Health Service, which is a big role. We have officers that work at FDA, work at CDC. They're out in community health centers. So we're all over the place, but that's part of my role as well.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot
I
of people.
had no idea.
It's a lot of people. And these officers, these are good men and women. These are good men and women who want to serve, who care about this country. And one of the things I have been told by officer after officer is they said, we are so happy that we have a new Assistant Secretary for Health. We're demoralized by our prior Assistant Secretary because we knew he didn't really care about us. He put the uniform on as a political stunt. Brian, you wear the uniform because you care about the country and you want to serve the president and the secretary.
So going into this role, like you're just kind of starting. If now, and hopefully we'll do an interview as you're leaving and we can reassess, but give us your top 3, like these are the things that I definitely want to get done while I'm here. What would those be?
Yeah, and so my agenda is, of course, Secretary Kennedy's agenda and the president's agenda. We all work for the president. He's the commander-in-chief. I work with Secretary Kennedy as we both serve the president and serve the people. And so the things that are really important to us at the Department of Health and Human Services, we know that affordability of health care, affordability of drugs, making sure we have good health care delivered to everybody, whether it be in a city or in these rural environments, that is something incredibly important to the president and the secretary and myself. Also, we have our values issues. In other words, and we can talk about this, right to life issues, respect for the dignity of every man, woman, and child in this country. That's incredibly important to us. Taking care of men, taking care of women, that's important. So affordability, these values issues, and doing everything so different from the last administration and the last Department of Health and Human Services. We absolutely are guided by science. That's something that Secretary Kennedy has said again and again. We are guided by gold standard science, and we use that science to form policy and to do things that are going to make America healthier than she's ever been.
Okay, but Dr. Fauci says he is science. So are we Dr. Fauci science, or are we, like,
No.
how do you?
Are we science?
We are science. We are science. Listen, people can think what they want about Dr. Fauci. I prefer not to think about Dr. Fauci. I don't have much regard or respect for that individual. But who I do have regard and respect for are RFK, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Jay Bhattacharya, Dr. Bhattacharya, who was so incredibly strong during the COVID pandemic. He leads the NIH, the National Institutes of Health. I have respect for Dr. Oz, Mehmet Oz, who heads up CMS, Medicare and Medicaid. He is amazingly brilliant, amazingly committed to this country. We have Marty McCary, who is out at FDA. Marty also cares deeply. We don't have a CDC director right now. The interim director is a man named Jim O'Neill. Jim is also the deputy secretary at HHS, incredibly smart, incredibly strong, committed to life, committed to science. So those are the people I think about. I don't worry about Anthony Fauci. I don't want to think about Anthony Fauci. He did enough harm to this country. Yeah. I think about President Trump and our team now at HHS because we're doing amazing things. You
clearly are. So could we jump in then to those values issues that you've mentioned? Top of the list, right to life.
Yes.
And underneath that would be people's concern about mifepristone.
Sure.
Could you talk to us about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think, I'm 62 years old, turned 62 in December. This is the most pro-life administration that I've ever seen in my 6 decades plus of life. There's no question about it. The most pro-life administration that I've ever seen. I think the administration that is friendliest to religion and faith that I've ever seen. And President Trump has demonstrated that again and again. We stand for life. We stand for the fact that we know that life begins at conception. We respect life until life's natural end. We respect the dignity of the person. We want to make sure that we stand with individuals who believe those same things, and we do. The recent March for Life, you saw that Vice President.
I mean, how do you even come back from that? I don't know. I have no idea. That was Bubba, like on our show. I felt like we kept it together pretty well. We had
that
some
was
laughs.
So much fun.
We didn't embarrass our family. And he said he'd come back. So I'm Amy Beth. She's Allison. He's JP. Bubba's gone for now. But leave it to us to have an exciting 11 o'clock hour because we're going to talk about the thing that happened over the weekend. Are you guys ready for this? We are going to discuss, in addition, we've got the montage. But after the montage or before, I'm going to let these two jokers tell me what we're doing. We have a little Dear White People that Gwendolyn Miss Gavan wrote.
Representative Abs.
Representative Gavan, and respect for being elected and respect for the office of. But she wrote something outrageous. Sinclair may or may not have tweeted back. And then it turns out that we probably all ruminated on it and made notes over it over the weekend. So we're going to cover that as well because it must be talked about today. So that's what we're going to do for the rest of the hour. It's going to be a banger, even though Bubba's gone. He's coming back.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. He'll be back. But first, we do have something to get our spirits kicked off. We have a Gen Z phrase of the day.
Do you have a word of the day too?
Well,
or do you want me to find both?
Well, if you could find the word of the day, because one of our new friends, Nate Carlson, who happens to be running for office, but we just have hit it off with them, and not just because they have a coffee shop. Okay.
Whew.
But anyway, I'm not going to tell you how he gave me this phrase, but it came out of a middle schooler's mouth. So the Gen Z phrase of the day was he and his wife asking somebody they know how the dance was. Okay, middle school. And this person said it was low key, not hype. And that was spectacular. I have kids in my own family giving me Gen Z words, asking, if we need help with those words. Yes, we do. But he came up to us on Saturday and said, I've got it for you. And I said, we're using it on Monday. Low key, not hype. And so you know what we're low key, not hype about? What Gwendolyn Gavan said in her op-ed. We are not hype about that. We're going to discuss it. What do you have for a word of the day?
I get the best word of the day is when I do
it's kind of not fair.
Okay. This blank is a formal word that refers to a person or thing that is perfect or excellent in some way and should be considered a model or example to be copied.
What's it start with? What
prototype?
Letter?
No. It starts with P.
A P?
One of our loyal listeners' work name may involve this word.
Paragon?
Paragon.
Allison Sinclair, that's so good.
Did not know that's what Paragon meant. I thought it was like a trapezoid. but slanted.
That's the first time I knew what paragon meant too.
Is that not a paragon?
No, because you say
No,
a
that's
paragon
a-
of virtue. Like, have you
Oh.
heard that phrase before?
No, I have
Apparently
not.
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Allegedly not. Okay, so
Allegedly
read
not.
it again. Paragon.
Paragon is a formal word that refers to a person or thing that is perfect or excellent in some way and should be considered a model or example to be copied.
I love that word. Paragon. That's a good word.
Leave off the pudgy.
Yeah.
Paragon. Not pinnacle. Okay, paragon. She is a
Paragon.
paragon of beauty.
Paragon. I don't know how to use it except paragon of virtue.
There you go.
You two are paragons when it comes to
Yeah, what? Go ahead. Fill in the blank, JP.
y'all two are paragons when it comes to being great talk show hosts.
Thank you, JP.
That seems so
you
genuine.
can stay. You can
That
can
is-
stay.
Okay, but you never said, I'm still going back to low key,
Not hype.
not hype. You never told us what that meant. Do you know what that means?
Low
JP?
key.
Yes.
Low key is like another word for real. So she was pretty much saying for real it was not, and hype means like good, like hype.
It was
You know
it
the
was
word hype.
boring. It was boring.
Yeah, it was boring.
There was
So
no hype about it.
It was for real, not fun, was what she was saying.
Okay.
So we would say, actually, it was kind of boring
Yes.
in grown up world.
For
Yes.
real, it was pretty boring.
Low
Okay.
key, not hype.
Okay.
But then also high key means like, because low key is supposed to be like
Sorry.
subtle, like low key, but if you're like low key, I don't really feel like doing that. But if you're like high key, I really don't feel like doing that. It's like, I'm not being subtle. I really don't want to do that. So if she was like, it's high key, not hype, that means it was really, really not fun. But if it was low key, not hype, it's like, it's kind of
So high key is worse than low key.
I'm glad we
Or
know how to
more-
function in the world today. I'm going to use the
More
phrase
extreme.
it's low key, not hype that my dogs like to chew things that I leave outside. Like my pot. Low key, it's not hype that Buffy keeps chewing on one of my pots, but it's still filled with dirt and I got to throw the whole thing
Is
away.
it plastic or is it?
It's that like poly material where it looks like it's cement on
It's
the
weird.
outside. I have an actual cement pot, but I'm too cheap to go break down and get another one. And I'm not actually going to have to.
it was low key, not hype. You took Bear's manhood. I'll just say that. Low key.
Oh, how's he doing?
He's so okay. Guys, he broke his cone of shame within the first hour of wearing it. But we're going to have to take them to the vet. And I hope they're not shocked that he's going to walk in bouncy, joyful, and no cone of shame for that dog. So
He's not licking though, is he?
no licking. He's playing like, you know how they said kind of the testosterone would leave the dog? They didn't actually define the term of how long that was going to take. Because I'd like for it to go ahead and leave, but I'm going to tell you, he plays with his dog sister like nothing ever happened.
That's funny.
That sounds.
I know. It's awkward. So anyway, woo! Let's
Okay.
go.
So, yeah,
That's low key, not hype.
that's low.
That's
key.
what's low key, not hype.
no hype, not
Okay.
hype.
No cap.
But Paragon, my dog Moose is a paragon. No, Moose is a paragon of what dogs should be. Is that a
Yeah.
proper sentence?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moose is a paragon.
Okay. Because he's perfect and he knows it, but I don't care. I'm too old to care.
What is the shape called? There's a parallelogram, and then there's
a pentagram.
an
Kidding. I know what a pentagram is.
octagon,
What
There
is
is no
that?
paragon?
Rhomboid. I loved the rhomboid.
rhomboid.
Do you remember the rhomboid?
I do.
But what starts with a P? If you have a parallelogram, you have a rhomboid, you have a triangle, square, rectangle, circle. What else do we have?
Um.
And that was just
Any
all.
other P's?
So there's a parallelogram, like you said.
Okay,
There's a pentagon. I'm not seeing any others. that start
maybe
with P.
pentagon.
Not
Pentagon.
pentagram, which is evil.
Anywho,
Sorry.
okay, we're
I'm
not
sorry.
talking shapes.
Okay.
I think you're thinking
All right.
parallelogram.
So probably. All right, guys. So you two, you get to choose montage first or dear white people first?
Oh Lord, I don't know if I'm ready for dear white people.
Okay.
Montage.
But we don't
first.
have them. We need the iPad.
All right, I'll get the iPad.
Here's my suggestion. We do montage.
I'm sorry. Okay, I got you.
Thank you, Sinclair.
Talk stories from the montage. Maybe briefly recap special session being over and what they accomplished. Governor signed into law. There's also a lot of, Allison sent me some interesting ads running right now in the statewide races. And then if we want to get to dear white people to end the show, I think that's the order to go.
All right. I mean, and look,
Your
I
hair is a
mean,
mess.
your hair looks good. My hair, like, I'm not even going to talk about how sad my hair is.
I mean, we have to talk dear white people. We have to. I don't want to.
But I think that's a last segment.
Okay. So why don't we take the last, maybe let's just do 15. It's probably going to take 15 minutes to get it all out. Because it's wild that what Rich preached about yesterday actually beautifully dovetails in if we're going to have a biblical worldview about it. It was just something he said that like gutted me, that I just thought that was hype. We need to talk about it.
Hype. Low key or high key?
It was high key. It was high key. One of those things that you're like, oh, huh. Okay. So let's montage it, JP.
Legislation to allow special primary elections were signed into law by the governor just within the last couple hours. The law would take effect if the Supreme Court allows Alabama to change our current voting districts again.
Is the war with Iran over? And if it isn't, who will decide when it is?
I think it accomplished a great deal, but it's not over because there's still nuclear material, enriched uranium that has to be taken out of Iran. There's still enrichment sites that have to be dismantled. What President Trump has said to me, I want to go in there.
And we're starting with a Fox News alert. A group of American passengers from the cruise ship that's linked to the deadly hantavirus outbreak, they have landed back here in the United States.
So they're now being taken to the National Quarantine Center in Omaha, where they're going to be monitored for symptoms.
As we looked over what's been released so far, it's a lot of videos, a lot of pictures, a lot of things that make you go, I wonder what that is.
Our goal and objective is to A, ensure that our taxpayer funds are not A, being spent somewhere they shouldn't, B, that people aren't breaking federal law, and C, this is an issue of national security. And so based on our investigations, what I can tell you is I'm glad I can finally talk about it. Some of the documentation that you actually saw released this past Friday.
That's good stuff right there.
Was that her hair hanging down?
Did she have braids?
It was kind of weird.
It was like it went
Like
from
I
the
couldn't
side of her
tell.
head down.
That was her hair. Her
Past
hair's
Friday.
really long. I didn't realize she had that long of hair.
Do you still braid your hair? She braids her hair.
Is that a braid?
That's a braid, lady. She like braided from the back and flipped it over her shoulder. That's a look.
Yeah, it is a braid.
That with the jacket, it's a whole thing.
It's like okay.
I really like her.
I like her too.
I didn't realize her hair was so long.
She's
Not that
doing
anybody
good work.
cares.
All right. So special session recap. Let's hit that. What's the update? I saved a couple of things on the computers, but from what you guys have read, what are you laughing at?
No, keep going. Keep going. I
So
get stuck in my own head.
we have 5 p.m. today is when Clarence Thomas said you've got to have a ruling. But back up before that, take us through the end of last week. Did it finish without a bang? What did they do? Are they sitting on go? What?
I don't even know anymore. I'm so confused by the whole thing. I mean, I think it's fairly
Going here.
there's some chatter out there. Okay, so we ended with we still have to lift the injunction, which is what we're waiting on today. If that happens, the Senate bill was passed so that they could hold a special election for the districts that changed. That was terrifying to have me. So
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Allison.
then the House bill was proposing a new map to use. I can't remember. Anyway, it basically would go back to the 6-1 Livingston map, the 2023 map that I would still say is unconstitutional because it was drawn when Section 2 was still enacted. But I digress. People are trying to say 6-1 is a win, which I kind of get the argument because it's better than 5-2. The thinking was that if we did a 7-0 map, it would have to go through the process of the 3-panel judge and it would be shot down and we would end up with 5-2 instead of 6-1. So I get that side. There's a little bit of talk that maybe Washington is going to start putting pressure on Alabama and some of these other states that are kind of waffling to go all in 7-0. There's also talk that maybe Governor Ivey, if that pressure comes down, would call another special session to draw a 7-0 map. I don't know. I'm exhausted. I can't imagine the people that are in Montgomery and having to deal with this. I'm disappointed there's not a 7-0 map. I'm disappointed that while they were there, they didn't at least pass a bill that gave them a chance to propose a 7-0 map.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then I go politically, you're about to come up. Some of them incumbents are about to be primaried. Some of them will be up for election, in November. Why wouldn't you just go as hard as you could, even if it was just for show, because let's be honest. A lot of what politicians do is for show. You were watching it right now in election season where some of these politicians are handed topics that, yes, you capitalize on that. So capitalize on this. Look like you're going hard. Look like you're giving us the best chance to go 7-0. I don't know why they didn't do that. Maybe there's some technicalities I'm missing.
I think also, and we talked about this on Saturday, it doesn't mean, because the other part is when we are in the act of calling them out and saying, we wish you would have done this, we really do appreciate our elected officials. What they do is hard. Getting talked about, demeaned, all those things, that's not easy to do. But we do have to be able to say, we've got to be able to communicate, and we're not communicating well. And we seem to be stuck in this position of almost always asking them to go farther than they're willing to go. Like we're like you said, go hard. Go hard. And we're like, well, for example, standing in the well and not have anything back to say. That's not acceptable. It doesn't mean we're mean for saying that. We're telling you as citizens who sent you there, it's not acceptable to sit there and not say anything back, even in the midst of the special session. But we never do. Like we didn't really have anything to say back, for example, about COVID. It's still what it always has been. There are things that we should be absolutely armed and ready to go verbally, with facts, with information. And so that's the part of it that really bothers me. But it goes along with not having a bill to give them the freedom to do what we want them to do. And I don't know what it will take because everything is so calculated and pre-planned, just like all of the protests were pre-planned. All of that was pre-planned. Meanwhile, we're like, come on, like we'll support you. We're your wingman. We'll support you. But why? Why are we always looking at other states? And here we are. And I feel like you do. Exhausted, like absolutely exhausted from trying to pay attention to all the things when all we want is to give ourselves a chance to be completely free, completely neutral, and judged fairly, which has nothing to do with skin color. And we didn't even do that. And that makes me want to put my head down and just, am I wrong?
I don't know. I felt like this was really the best we could have gotten out of this special session because of the injunction not being lifted. So I actually was pleasantly surprised at the get after it and do something. I mean, obviously that this is a rare time. I'll say, don't let perfect be the enemy of good, or don't shoot for perfect, because I really think this was the most they could have done with the injunction still being there. The question is, if when the injunction's lifted, how hard do they go for a 7-0? That's still to be determined. But I understand the argument that the 6-1 that we had was still technically racially gerrymandered, and I agree. However, that is still better than 5-2, and at least they did something. And that probably was the best map we could have gotten that's already been approved. And hopefully, today being the deadline with the Supreme Court to up or remove the injunction, then we can see how willing they are to actually push for 7-0. But I was actually pleasantly surprised a special session was called. I was surprised by some of the representatives were willing to actually push for a 6-1, even in the midst of a tornado warning and the State House getting flooded. I thought that was the best we could have gotten. And I understand people who are still frustrated, but I'd say wait until the injunction is lifted and they actually have a chance to go 7-0 before going down that route. So I'll be the optimist here.
I'm glad for
Why
your
are you
optimism.
smiling?
Where is JP?
I don't,
done with him?
I don't know.
Here's what's going to happen. This is my prediction. Unless there is enough pressure from the White House and from Washington, D.C., they are, even if the injunction's lifted, they will not do anything. They're going to blame it on cost. It's really expensive to get together for a special session. Everybody's leaving to go on vacation with their families. The primary's already passed. And so then we'd have to pay to do a whole other election, which you're going to have to do probably anyway with the 6-1 map. But they will find an excuse not to do it. I don't know. I could give you some reasons, but it actually, if you want to be the most efficient while you're there and everybody's just sitting around in a flood, with 2/3 vote, you can take up other matters than what the governor called. And that could have been to look at a 7-0 different map that wasn't either like a living or a map that's already passed, and at least have that in the chute if you can use it. They could have knocked out. Well, let me say, the rules are confusing, and maybe I'm just speaking like based on my Chat GPT and basic research. Problem is, I don't know if I'm wrong because y'all won't talk to us.
Yeah, the gag order is a little crazy.
And on one hand, leadership was saying, well, we are under litigation and we don't want to say anything that could hurt the litigation. Okay, I kind of get that. And then, when I talked to some people from Montgomery, they were like, well, we don't want to filibuster our own bill and take up time passing our own bill. So why would we go to the well? I kind of get that. The problem is what happened with the Democrats and the Republicans. And I don't know, we can save that for Wandling Gavan's Dear White People segment. But there were relationships and there were things that I think are irreparable that happened in Montgomery. And some of it is because we didn't stand up for ourselves. And not only do you look weak to the Democrats, you look weak to your constituents. And you basically just let them paint us as a bunch of things that we are not. And you sat there and took it. It wasn't even that you had to do it while you were on the floor. You didn't even do it while you weren't on the floor.
Not to speak is to speak.
So I don't know if we want to go there yet, but
we're about to go to break.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'll say, and I agree that what you mentioned about if the injunction is lifted, they're still not going to do anything. I don't doubt that that's a possibility, but
so they weren't going to call a special session, number one, and they did it under pressure. Number two, it is very hard to accept all the reasons, valid though they may be, if we are looking at other states and they are breezing through. Meanwhile, we're not. It's like they want to mess around with Alabama because they think they can. And when they do stand there, because they're not talking, I understand exactly what she said, but not to speak is to speak. And that's the image we projected. And that's the thing that I struggle with, is we knew this was coming. What are we actually doing? Because I'm looking at Tennessee, Florida, who else, guys? Like, they're just whizzing on through. Virginia just got walloped back into shape. And we're like, well,
Florida.
Guys, we're for you, but we're for you going hard, which means we're going 7-0 let them peel it back, but move forward with 7-0 and then go from there. Not, well, we'll do our best with the 6-1. Come on. Please, respectfully.
We'll be back with Wanda Gavan's poetry called Dear White People. And it's all the things we've done wrong. You don't want to miss it. We'll be back.
Address the country. The next day, there was a breakfast that was basically for all of the youth, the young men and women who'd come into this country come into the city from across the country. Mm-hmm. There was a breakfast that morning. Jim O'Neill, the deputy secretary, and myself, we addressed those students, and there were over 2,000 people there. And we talked about the fact, what we're doing for life, the fact that we know little boys are little boys and little girls are little girls, the fact that we know life begins at conception, the fact that we are doing things like, for instance, through my office, the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health, we administer the Title X funds. So let me tell you, so just recently, because of our oversight, directed by Secretary Kennedy, our oversight over Title X funds, $2.3 million of grants that had been given before us had to be returned by Planned Parenthood. $2.3 million that will no longer go to killing children, $2.3 million that will no longer go to lying to women. Because of our oversight, they gave that money back, which is a huge victory, absolutely. Mm-hmm. We make sure that we're enforcing the Hyde Amendment. Mm-hmm. President Trump, Secretary Kennedy, and myself, we are strong for this. No federal dollars are going to go toward abortion or procuring abortion services. We are strong with the Hyde Amendment, and we are making sure the Hyde Amendment is being enforced, unlike the last administration. Yes. We have made sure that monies, that when you have youth, children or youths, young girls who are taken in custody coming across the border or something, that federal dollars cannot go to providing abortion services, because that was going on in the last administration. Just totally disregarding the Hyde Amendment. We stand strong. That's no longer happening. So for those right-to-life issues, we've been incredibly strong about that, and we're very vocal about that. Again, one of the things that impresses me most about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and he's always been this way, he really realizes that God has given an inherent dignity to every man, woman, and child, and we respect that dignity.
As an adopted person, and I know as an adoptive mother, we are so thankful for those policies. And as women who've lived through the nonsense, that the lies that have been heaped upon us, that you have to kill your child to have a life.
That's right.
We're very grateful for your stand in that regard.
It's again, all of this is a privilege, but we have to do it for the country. We have to do, and we have to remember too that all of the wins that we have in this administration and this Department of Health and Human Services, it only takes one election cycle for things to reverse. And so we can talk about this more later, but it's incredibly important for us as conservatives, for us as people of faith, to be motivated to vote in November, to get out, support those candidates who stand with President Trump and his agenda. It's going to be more important than it's ever been. I know every election it's like, this is the most important. So I'm not going to use that hyperbole, but this is an incredibly important election in November. So I want all of the people, all of the men and women who watch this podcast, who listen to this podcast, and there are so many, I want them all to know, tell your friends, tell your families, we've got to be out there supporting candidates in congressional districts and Senate races that support the president in November.
You posted recently about gender affirming care, gender dysphoria, and kind of your work, and you just mentioned, right to life. That I would agree, that is a life issue. Were you surprised when the American Medical Association came out recently and said that gender affirming care, genital mutilation, all that should be put off till adulthood? And do you think that we're maybe turning a corner on all this?
I think that is I'm so glad you asked that question, because yes, so the American Medical Association is certainly backing away from its prior stance. It was the Academy of Plastic Surgeons, I think that's the right name. The Academy of Plastic Surgeons that said, and this is landmark, they said just this past week, that we recommend that we don't do those mutilating surgeries, what we call the sex-rejecting surgeries, on anybody under the age of 19. That is huge. Mm-hmm. That is huge. And I think we are turning this corner. We can never take our foot off the accelerator, because I like to say that gender theory is like a vampire. It'll come back. You may think you've killed it, but it'll come back in the next hostile administration. So we always have to keep our foot on the accelerator for this, and we are. And I am, and President Trump certainly is. But yeah, I hope that we've turned a corner. I really do. This really started with, again, science. So we released at HHS, we released something called the Gender Dysphoria Report, and that was back in the fall. We released this report that basically looked at all the science, and we said, no, the wrong way to treat these children is to perform castrating surgeries. The wrong way to treat these children is to use sex-rejecting chemicals and hormones. The right way to treat these children is with compassionate, competent mental health care. Now, personally, as a person of faith, I personally believe that if the child's parents want this, I think pastoral care is incredibly important to support these kids, right? But we initiated that report. The report was released, and then we did something even more. We had what was called the peer review of that report. So we invited scientists, not all of whom were aligned with us, to say, review this report. Tell us what you think. Put your politics aside, go by the science. And they had to say, you're right. The science backs up exactly what you're saying.
JP, you sure know how to do that, don't you?
My goodness.
My
I'm
friend.
about to read Dear White People, and you're going to throw that out at me.
Okay, so here's what you've tuned in for, perhaps. Well,
put my glasses on.
All right, I got my glasses to write things down. So maybe over the weekend, I'm Amy Beth, she's Allison, he's JP. We are the right side. You found us the right place, the right time for truth and liberty. That's what we're here for. Is now to talk about something that if you read this, it probably sent shockwaves, maybe made your hair curl or straighten. Maybe you felt outraged or puzzled. So Allison Sinclair is going to do a dramatic reading. Not really, not dramatic. What she says is dramatic.
It's dramatic enough on its own.
Yeah. So why don't you read, please?
A poem by Representative Wandalyn Gavan. An open letter called Dear White People. This was posted in AL Politics, I think on Friday. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's kind of long and it's really dramatic and exhausting, but I'm going to read parts. Dear white people, when you gut the protections of the 1965 Voting Rights Act, understand that Black Americans do not experience that as a political disagreement. We see it as war. Dear white people, before there was a Voting Rights Act, there were poll taxes. There were literacy tests. There was systemic exclusion. Before there was progress, there was blood in the streets and bodies hanging from the trees. Dear white people, Black Americans did not inherit freedom in this country. We fought for it. We marched for it. We bled for it. Bloody Sunday on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in 1965. The signing of the Voting Rights Act in 1965. Every gain Black people made in America came with sacrifice. Dear white people, Black Americans know exactly what voter suppression looks like because we have lived it. We remember being told we weren't intelligent enough to vote. We remember having to count jelly beans in jars. We remember reciting portions of the Constitution before being allowed access to the ballot box. We remember intimidation. We remember exclusion. We remember violence. And we remember who fought to keep those systems in place. Dear white people, this is a slap in the face to Martin Luther King Jr., a slap in the face to John Lewis Medgar Evers, the 16th Street Baptist Church girls who were murdered, and a slap in the face to every Black American who believed this country would evolve into a true democracy. Dear white people, you may redraw districts, you may manipulate systems, you may attempt to dilute Black political power, you may attempt to silence Black voices, but you cannot erase Black resilience. You cannot erase Black excellence. You cannot erase Black endurance. You cannot erase the undeniable truth that Black people helped build this nation while simultaneously being denied full access to it. Dear white people, every time Black communities organize politically, there is an effort to move the goalposts. Every time Black voters gain representation, there's an effort to redraw the lines. Every time Black voices become powerful, there is an effort to silence them. And yet we continue to rise. Dear white people, one more thing. We are not going back. And she goes on and on and on. But that's the message. How do you interpret that, Amy Beth?
At what point are we held accountable for our actions or lack of?
Is that a rhetorical question or?
No. I mean, I'm thinking, for example, of like when are we held accountable for what we're supposed to be doing? Like I'm thinking of the guy with the hantavirus going digging through trash in South America, and he's now gotten a lot of people sick. Like, is he going to be held accountable for what he did? Did he die? I don't know where he is or what that is, but that's an action that you need to be held accountable for. You did that. Your stupid actions did that. Now we're looking 65 years, actually 61 years, right? Since the Voting Rights Act. When are we going to be held, or they are going to be held responsible for their actions or lack thereof? Because she speaks as if no changes ever occurred. She speaks as if it weren't the Republicans who were the ones that brought forth the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. She speaks as if the redlining in neighborhoods wasn't handled, because it was. She speaks as if LBJ wasn't the one who took Black men out of families. It was actually Woodrow Wilson, then FDR, and then LBJ who wiped out the Black families. And then we look at Black districts in Alabama, and I did go break it down, and I did print all the information off. I, of course, didn't bring it with me, but it's on my computer. I'm not even going to look at it. There is a difference between Black districts and there's a difference between those two districts and the others. There is. And we'd be foolish not to acknowledge our past, but we've already done that. And so when then are we accountable for and responsible for the districts that we lead and the disparities there? We blame white people at the same time, but then we need them on the other hand. It doesn't make sense. Don't judge us by our skin, but except for here. Like what they're asking for doesn't make sense, because she speaks as if changes never, ever happened. And then if the changes did happen, we can't stop talking about it, because then we're out of power and we're out of control. But what about the districts you guys have been responsible for 40 years? And there are disparities there. Are you responsible for those, for the economic disparities, for the educational disparities, for the fatherlessness in the homes? Are you responsible for that? Who's responsible for that? Because y'all got districts. You have them. And they're struggling. Whose responsibility is that? That's what I want to know.
It seems that, and basically Representative Gavan is saying this. I mean, it's the white conservative Republicans in Montgomery, in DC. It's just white people in general, it seems like. And I don't know at what point the verbiage and the rhetoric coming out is that need for reconciliation or remedy is never going to be met. And I've yet to hear someone from the Democrats or Black Alabama say, once we're here, we'll be good. Talk about moving the goalposts. Okay, you have all this representation in Congress. You have Black mayors. You've had Black president now. You've had a Black vice president, female. I mean, what more do you need to prove that you have every opportunity that everybody else does? Nobody can answer that. And I think it goes back to what you're saying. And this is just me being a white person looking from outside at the Black community. It feels, and I don't want to put all of them there, because we've had several people on the show that are like, this does not represent me. But it doesn't seem like there's really an end game. It's just we need something to hold on to continue the outcry and outrage, to continue to keep the division, which the only thing I can think of is for some Marxist revolution and communist socialist takeover.
If you dig back into the civil rights movement, if you look at somebody like Chad O. Jackson, who's a documentary filmmaker who has the MLK Project, his Uncle Tom 1 and 2, several Black figures we really look up to have been part of that and have really educated me on my journey to figure this all out. But the communists have infiltrated that community starting back then. It was the feminist movement, it was the Black civil rights movement, but they have infiltrated that community. And they have been about dividing, devouring, and destroying. At first, we were all together trying to work it out and make things right legally, and we did. You see, the only place, if you want to go all the way back, the only place where slavery abruptly ended was in America. It is still going on. It started at the beginning of time. It is still going on right now. We are not the only place to have dealt with that, but we seem to be the only place that doesn't ever want to let that go. And so if you're dealing with somebody who is never, ever willing to forgive, you are not dealing with the God of the Bible. You are dealing with another religion completely. And communism is godless, it is man-centered, and that is ultimately where this thing falls down. Because it is all about what they want, and they will never be satisfied. That's what the human heart cries above all else, is more, more, more. And we're watching it in real time. But this is communist in its root. And they will never be satisfied. They don't want to be. And you know why? There is no money in being satisfied. And there is no power if you say, okay. What we're all asking for is just to battle it out on principle and policies and whose are the best for our country. That's what we want. We do not want to be judged. I don't want to be judged on the color of my skin. I want to be judged because I worked my butt off and I earned what I got. But this mentality keeps people as victims. It's like the age an alcoholic first took their drink. That's the age they stay. Let's say it was 17 or 20, maybe even 12. And they never get beyond there. That's what we're dealing with. We've moved on. We're trying real hard to move on. And they're like, nope, stay stunted way back here. This is all we'll accept. That's godless. The Bible says there's no Jew, Scythian, slave, or free. We're one in Christ. And if you are a believer, we are one. And he doesn't even see the color of our skin at all. Why should we? No more.
What makes me really sad is that I think harm has been done in Montgomery that will take a long time to reconcile and move on from. I think some things were said and some lines were crossed that has done a lot of damage, you know, not to mention just the disorderly conduct that they'll have to take care of, you know, the representatives going up in the gallery and kind of causing a scene. But just some of the things that were said from the well. Actually, Prince Chestnut was the one who said that about Kenneth, which I was shocked because Prince has been on our show, is actually fairly conservative and seems very logical in his thinking. And so I don't know if it was just emotions so much running high. But it makes me sad because I think you're talking about that. It's so ironic that they want reconciliation, but yet they are sowing so much division and have set the relationships back so far, even if it's just between R&D at this point. But they made it black and white. And that is tragic. So we're not moving forward. And that makes me think, their intentions are not good. They genuinely do not. That's not how you approach people that you want to reconcile and be in relationship with. That's how you approach people that you want to condemn, to make look bad, to further your own agenda, and to sow division. And that's exactly what they accomplished. And I don't know, I feel like Republican leadership especially has always been very kind and accommodating and kind of seeing the other side. Like, I get it. We used to be in the minority. Republicans haven't always kind of run the state. Now, maybe they're getting a glimpse where we have been beating the drum of, when you're in power, use the power, because they will. They clearly have no intention of being cordial or respectful of us. So when somebody breaks that social compact, you can't go like where things are out of line biblically, but you take care of your people and the people that you are there to represent. And you do so confidently and swiftly and powerfully. Not to be vengeful.
No, not at all.
But because God has put you there to bring about and to lobby for and enact these principles that you ran on. So I think maybe this is good, because we're about to get taken down so fast if they ever get back in power.
Absolutely, without question. And I think that's very well said. I think what you just described is an emotionally abusive relationship.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah.
And when you're in that kind of relationship, you don't play ball. You don't enable. You just get back to the policies and principles, but you're exactly right. Lines were crossed, things were said absolutely unacceptably. I mean, if you really want to battle it out, friends, then let's talk about the ideas on both sides and what's better for human flourishing. Cutting genitalia off, aborting our babies, terrible education scores, low economic development. I mean, all of it sounds like we can't do it without Christ. But like, what policies allow for human flourishing and dignify the worth of each person? That's what we're for. It's really that simple. But right now, it's not. It's not. JP, what do you think?
Well, first of all, yeah. Whenever I see stuff like what Wanda Van put up, dear white people, as if all white people have always been racist towards African Americans in this nation. Obviously, I know there's a very dark past with our nation, but how about all the white people that helped free the slaves in America? How about all the white people that died in the Civil War to free the slaves in America? How about the white people like Abraham Lincoln and others that have championed the cause of civil rights? It's almost like those white people are excluded and ignored for their own gain. But yeah, I think you hit it on the head right there, Amy Beth. This is not a skin color issue. This is an ideological, political policy issue, because just look at the facts of majority of African Americans in the South are Christian. They're traditional. They have traditional values. They are, in terms of their, view of the family, view of, their worldview is Christian conservative for the most part in the South. And yet they elect people, or they fight for their representatives to be those like Terry Sewell, who want to have wide open borders, pro-abortion, like the most liberal of liberal policies. But just because she has the same skin color, then they're sold the lie from the Democrats that you have representation, where they don't look at the values and the policies that the Terry Sewells and Shamari figures fight for. It's not, for the most part, the values that African Americans in the South have. I mean, and I know whenever people say stuff like this, it's taken a certain way, but the African Americans in my circle, my friends, and all the ones that I've known growing up have not been for the values of the Terry Sewells and the others. They are traditional conservative and Christian, and like I said, it's for the most part in the South. But they've been sold the lie politically that you must have somebody of the same skin color as you representing you to have proper representation. And if they don't And if the Republicans are in power, then you are being put back in chains, like what Joe Biden said. You're being sent back. And that's what you have to fight for. And the people in the gallery with the Black Lives Matter and others that were there, they don't give a rip about actually fighting for blacks in the South. All they want is their picture on AO.com of them with their fist in the air, screaming. And, I'll say names. Jamel Brown wants to take a picture of him staring down police officers. Like, they are all about me. Wandling Gavan leaving the floor going, and she wanted to get escorted and pushed out of the gallery so she could go and cry and say it's because she was a black representative. You can't just leave the floor. You know what I mean? So it is all about them, but they're sold the lie from Democrats to keep them because they are, and this is true. The Democrats view African Americans in this nation as their own pawns and slaves, that you owe them your vote. So it's not true. And to be on an equal playing field, because the Democrats view African Americans as you need special representation, you need us to fight for you, where really all they care about is implementing their Marxism. So if you want to be on it, and you can vote Democrat and a Republican, it's not like you're being, how about all the Democrats that are in, whatever Republic, they still have their chance to vote, but it's not about your skin color from the Democratic Party. They just want to win, and they view you as their pawns so that they can implement their liberal ideologies that for the most part, African Americans aren't even for. So how about we make it policy instead of skin color? You can have a white representative represent your values. Just because they don't have the same skin color doesn't mean you're not getting proper representation. Nobody's voting rights are getting taken away. Nobody's being disenfranchised. It's just putting everybody on a true even playing field.
I need caffeine or a nap.
I know, same.
We got 10 minutes before the show's over.
So when you both read that, I know we're finishing up, but I forgot to ask at the beginning, and my other notes had this noted. What was your immediate instinct when you read that?
All white people should go die. Yes, white people, please go die. But before you do, please save our black voting districts because we can't do it without you.
It's ironic.
It's weird. Because what in America in 2026 can a black American not do that a white American can?
Just leaving that sit there. Because it's such a good question. What has been removed?
One's on the Supreme Court, right? Currently, she's awful, but you can get to the Supreme Court and you can.
Well, don't forget Clarence Thomas.
Right, exactly. Yes.
And Ketanji Brown.
Well, he doesn't count because he's basically a white person because he's a Republican.
That's true.
He's the Kenneth Pascal.
He's an Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is so funny. We throw around Uncle Tom. I was hoping somebody would bring that up. Uncle Tom is the hero of the story, by the way. But if you want to learn a little bit more, because as you know, I'm on this journey. It's been 9 years of finding out my heritage, which is exciting. But the funny thing is, and it's kind of appropriate for a conversation like today, as soon as I told somebody you won't believe this, and they were like, no, I will believe that because duh. They said, well, are you going to start voting Democrat?
Wait. Somebody actually said that to you?
Uh-huh.
Were they kidding?
I think so, but it's one of those comments that whether it was made in jest or not.
That's true.
Is a conversation, is a comment that's they were telling the truth. There is an assumption that goes along with however dark or light you are, which is equally offensive.
Yeah.
But I did get to my car and I was like, what? I was like,
it's really funny.
You obviously don't know me. I'm going to vote what the Bible says. So I'm just going to stick with that. No, I'm not changing. It's the same thing when they also found out years before that I was going to homeschool. Okay, were you going to get goats, stop wearing makeup and wearing long skirts? Like we're so performative in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
But
actually, yeah.
But I'm like, well, I did just find out my husband may have just figured out a way for me to have a goat. More on that. Stay tuned. But it is who's dividing us? what rights have been removed, and where do we go from here? Who wants healing and who doesn't? Who gains from the fight and who doesn't? Because there are real issues in everybody's district that need to be handled. Everybody. But the theater of the absurd is not one of them that needs to continue. And that's what needs to get called out from us and whoever else is willing. Because at the end of the day, what we want to find out is, what is it that you're really afraid of when you're listing off all these crazy things in your letter as if it were still 1965? What are you really afraid of? What do you really want? And if you want to be heard, then starting a fight is not the best place to start.
Mm.
Could be me, though.
Yeah. And what stinks is that, I wrote out this quickly, just jotted down my initial thoughts that I think I've turned into a tweet that I'm going to tweet out. But it's dangerous because no matter what you say, you're going to still be the problem.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I'll still be the racist. I'll still be all the things. But if you don't say anything, like most people in the media are out there aren't, I didn't even really see this article get picked up much. What? So we're just supposed to be held hostage forever and let people say, I mean, if we're asking our legislators to stand up for us and themselves, then we should as well. Because the only other option is we're just backed into a corner forever, and we will just take whatever adjectives and things they want to say about us and accept them and write them across our forehead and live in shame.
And as you're speaking, my question is, why do the other states get away with what they want and then they're here messing around with Alabama? Is it because they know we're weak and they think they can?
What do you mean?
I mean, our injunction hasn't been lifted. It should have been lifted almost instantly. It wasn't. Things like Dear White People get put out there. We didn't really do anything to get ready for a 7-0 map or going for victory. We didn't do that. We stood in the well and we took it and we let our brother in Christ get defamed. But like overall, are they watching Alabama going, well, that's just Alabama. We can get away with it there. We can get away with shaming them there. We can get away with dividing them there. We can get away with guilting them into doing what we want.
There's a very logical, rational answer that's not
I'm sorry.
That's not grand. I do think for some yes, there's that, but I also think there's the practical answer, which is we still have a lot of sympathetic Republicans in the legislature that are still sympathetic to their Democrat roots and or Democrat colleagues. I think for whatever reason, and even the congressional members in Congress have always protected Terry Sewell. Always. It's weird. I don't know why. I think there's some of that going on. I think there's some allegiance to Governor Ivey, who, used to be a Democrat, still kind of governs like a Democrat in a lot of ways. So there's that side of it too that's a little bit less sexy and tantalizing. It's just practical. I think they still are kind of okay with some of what?
They're safe.
I hoped you'd say that.
Tantalizing?
Well, tantalizing, but I think you're nailing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'll keep going. I was like, I had to really reach to find tantalizing.
That
I'm
was
trying
good.
to use
That was really
big
good.
words. But I think that's it. They just want to, they're still sympathetic, still protecting. Because apparently they don't think Terry Sewell's good enough to do it on her own. Oops.
Would you rather have teeth that glow in the dark or eyebrows that fall off once a month?
Eyebrows that fall off once a month.
I've always wanted a grill. Let's just go with glow in the dark teeth. You know how funny that would be?
It'd be hilarious.
Like I have to wake up Jared in the middle of the night because he's snoring and then he rolls over. I'm like, come on. And he just got, yeah.
Would you rather live in a house built with graham crackers or drive a car made from Jell-O?
Graham crackers,
Jell-O!
obviously.
Jello.
Yeah,
You can't
because
go fast
if
in
you
Jell-O.
If you get in a wreck, you are dead beyond belief in a Jell-O car.
It's true.
Graham crackers would melt the first rain.
It's true. It's a no-win situation.
That was good, JP. Y'all, we had a blast. I had a great day. It was so much fun. What a fun Monday. We will be back on Tuesday. I don't even know what we're doing. Are we doing anything fun tomorrow?
Stuff, of course.
What? Tuesday? What's up, brother?
Allegedly.
Oh, it is allegedly day.
Allegedly.
We will be back. We'll have a Supreme Court opinion, ruling, something by 5 o'clock, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. But y'all make good choices and stay on the right side. We'll see you tomorrow.